Hello all, welcome back to the channel. We will be looking at how Nmap performs TCP scan and how the different states of open, closed, and filtered are achieved in Nmap scans. We will be analyzing the scans with Wireshark to see what is happening underneath the hood on the network layer. We will have a target server, a host that we will be performing the scan on. This will be a Ubuntu server that has the IP address of 192.168.10.144 as shown here. We can see that the SSH service is listening on TCP port 22. We will be performing the Nmap scan on this .144 IP and on port 22. This is our attacker machine running Kali OS. We have an source IP address of 192.168.10.112 over here. So basically, .112 will be performing the Nmap scan on .144. Let's fire up Wireshark so that we can analyze the packets sent and received when the Nmap scan is executed. Let's apply a filter so that we will only see what is relevant. Our Kali IP .112 and the target Ubuntu server .144. This should work. Let's fire the Nmap scan now. We can supply the -pn parameter to tell Nmap not to perform ping discovery, as we know that our target .144 is alive. By default, Nmap will perform stealth scan, which is the -ss parameter. Let's not do that. Let's see what the normal, proper TCP scan looks like by using the -st TCP Connect scan instead. Nmap was able to identify that port 22 SSH is open on our target server. Great. Now, let's look at the Wireshark output. As shown over here, there are 4 packets captured by Wireshark. Starting from top to bottom, we can look at the first column, which indicates the packet number. So basically, from packet number 18 down to number 21. The first packet sent is from us, source IP of .112 to the target destination IP of .144. We sent a sync packet to port 22. Sync packet as in SYN synchronize. The second packet, number 19, is a reply from the target .144, whereby the target server replied to us with a sync ACK packet. ACK as in ACK acknowledge. This means that port 22 is open and available on the target server. The third packet, number 20, is us again, from source IP of .112, sending an ACK packet to say OK, acknowledge, everything is cool. And finally, once we have determined that port 22 on the target .144 is open, we can then close the TCP connection gracefully with a reset RST ACK packet. This makes way more sense now, referring to the screenshot we have shared earlier describing the TCP 3-way handshake and 4-way handshake. We can see that the first 3 packets refer to the TCP 3-way handshake, whereby we establish a TCP connection with the target. In order to terminate or stop the TCP connection, it requires a 4-way handshake, which is basically the packet number 21, which terminates the TCP connection. Let's run Nmap scan again without the ST option. By default, Nmap will perform the SS stealth scan instead. Okay, cool. It was able to identify port 22 as open again. Let's check out Wireshark. The newly executed stealth scan can be seen from packet number 53 to 55. As shown in the Wireshark output, it is kinda different. First packet, number 53. We sent a sync packet to the target .144 on port 22. The second packet, number 54, we receive a nice sync acknowledge from the target 144, indicating that port 22 is open. Instead of sending back a polite ACK packet, we immediately terminate the TCP connection with RST reset instead. This resulted in the overall TCP connection to be 3 packets instead of 4. This technique is known as half scan or stealth scan because it doesn't complete the usual TCP 3-way handshake. It is rumored that this technique can potentially bypass some firewalls implementation, as it doesn't complete the full 3-way TCP handshake. Not sure how true is this, but it's good to know. Now that we have a clear picture of how Nmap TCP scans work and how the open state is determined by Nmap, let's try to scan a closed port instead. Let's perform a Nmap scan on port 21, which we know is closed on our target server 144. Nmap is able to tell that port 21 is closed on our target 144, which is indeed true. Let's check out Wireshark again. We can see that from packet number 151 and 152, that is the only 2 packets needed to determine a closed port. Starting from packet number 151, basically we tried to send a sync packet to the target 144 on port 21, and subsequently on packet number 152, we receive a reset acknowledge packet from the server. This means that even if the port is closed, we should still get a reply from the server, such as the RST-ACK packet shown here. People who are less experienced are usually confused here. Their normal expectation is that the target server shouldn't be sending back any packets at all if the port is closed, which is totally not true. Even if the port is closed, the server should still reply with a reset acknowledge packet shown here. Let's try performing the ST scan again on port 21, which is closed. We know that the results should be similar regardless. Alright, it's the same output from Wireshark, a sync packet sent by us and a reset acknowledge packet received from the server, indicating that the port is closed. Now, we know what open and closed states look like. Let's explore the final state, the filtered state. Let's hop over to our target Ubuntu server and configure some firewall rules. Let's set up a web server with Python on port 8000 first. This will be the target service TCP port 8000 that we will be scanning on later. We can see that port 8000 is now running the Python web server as a demo target. We can verify this on Kali as well. Let's quickly perform a scan on port 8000. Okay, it is showing open. That's great. Let's implement some firewall rules now with iptables. Let's add a rule in the input chain that will accept the IP address of .100, which is totally not our Kali IP, as our Kali IP is 112. The destination port should be set to 8000. Now, let's add another rule. We will need a block all rule to reject everything else that is coming to the same destination port of 8000. Okay, great. This means that if the source IP that is trying to access our server on port 8000 is not .100, it will reject the packet. Now let's hop over to our Kali and perform the Nmap scan. We can see that it is indeed showing a filtered state now. Let's analyze the packets on Wireshark. So packets 240 and 241. The last 2 packets shown in Wireshark represents the Nmap scan that we have just performed, which resulted in a filtered state. Packet 240 basically is us, the Kali with a source IP of .112, sending a sync packet to port 8000 on our target 144. We receive a ICMP error message, destination unreachable, instead of a usual RST-ACK reset acknowledge packet. This means that the response we receive from the .144 server is not the usual reply that we should be getting from a TCP connection. Hence, Nmap was able to identify the port as filtered instead of closed, as it is very likely that a firewall rule is blocking the connection instead of the port being actually closed by itself. This is pretty interesting to know. Alright guys, that is all to this video, a quick and short video explaining how Nmap TCP scan works underneath the hood by analyzing it with Wireshark. I hope you all have enjoyed the video. Please help to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It will really help out the channel a lot. Thanks all, bye.